So in the interest of turning every time I talk into a marketing opportunity, I recorded a conversation that I had with a student at North Pole High School, Haley, and this is the result of that conversation. And my son just put his fingers into the lens.
How did you get started with your career in marketing?
I started as a video producer. So it was a friend of mine was offered a job at an ad agency in 2003, and he didn't want it. But he knew that I was interested in production because I had done video stuff in high school. And I said, I am tired of pulling windshields out of cars. I would love to jump careers into something where I can play with digital tools. And I went and interviewed. I took a pay cut. They were desperate for somebody, and I was desperate to get out of the industry I was in. Then it was like I was off to the races, because I went from doing no official commercial production to you're making radio ads, you're making commercials, you're writing scripts, you're doing phone book ads back then, you're doing newspaper ads, all of it. And that's how I got started professionally. And then I worked for that agency for a while, quit so I could do freelance, and still worked for them on a freelance basis. And then ended up landing at Mammoth Advertising, which is what this company was before I bought it. And then worked from like video producer up to creative director. And then the owner was like, I want to retire. And I was like, I've had twins, I don't want to retire. And so the solution was, well, why don't we transfer the ownership? You can buy the place for me. And I said, okay. And that was 4 years ago. And here we are today with Mammoth Marketing.
Did you receive any special training for this job? If so, what kind?
So I did not. When I first started, I knew I wasn't good. And I did what is still sort of my thing to do, which is if I'm struggling in an area, I find resources online and I lean into those. So when I was younger, I would record an ad, and then I would go and put it all over the internet and say, hey, everybody, critique this, because I don't know what's wrong. And that was the best thing I could have done as far as training goes. And then the other thing is you just keep doing it over and over again. And eventually you get good and you learn your own shortcuts and you learn your own skill set. When it came to marketing, when I started here at this agency 12 years ago, it was much the same thing. It was, I want to get better at copywriting. I want to get better at communicating. I want to get better at this and that. And I would hop online and find resources for that. And really, I would dive in. And that's always been the way I learn. And I think people learn in all sorts of different ways. And you have to lean into the way that's best for you. So that's what I did.
How long have you been working in the marketing industry?
Since 2003. So now I gotta do math. Is that 17 years?
That's 17 years.
Jeez. Yep. I've almost grown
That's
up in
how
marketing.
old I am.
Yeah. So when you were born was when I eventually went, I want to be a marketer.
How have your skills grown over time?
I've learned that I needed to be a jack of all trades. As marketing has gotten more fragmented and more complex, it became, okay, you can't just do video production. You also need to tell a client how to like get people to watch that video. How do you make the right video for advertising versus a corporate event? How do you then make sure that people know about the corporate event by which the video will go? And so it just kind of grew, and so that then became websites and print and digital, and all this stuff just rolled into one. And I've built up those skills largely so I can help now. My job is curating it for clients by finding other people who are as good, if not better than myself. And I bring them in and I say, hey, you got a skill that I can't do. Let's work together and we'll get this client what they need.
Are there any skills that you'd like to develop in the future?
I'll always want to develop what's becoming popular, right?
Yeah, like keeping up with.
Yeah, you gotta keep up with the trends.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing in technology, and technology and marketing are like this now.
Yeah.
So if you don't keep up with the trends with tech,
then you're falling behind.
yeah, you are, and you're only going to be useful for that era. But so I could learn everything today and be like, all right, I'm on my game, and find out in 6 months that I got to do something different. So that way, when a client has a need, I can pivot and say, hey, this is what's happening. This is where the industry is. This is where consumer attention is. Let's make sure we're there to meet it.
Is it exhausting having to just like switch up all the time?
Sometimes, yes.
Or like, do you just learn how to adapt?
You do. And eventually, I mean, one thing I really love about the industry is it's always shifting.
Yeah.
So there's always something new to learn.
Would you recommend this job to others?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the best. I mean, I do feel super lucky that this is an industry that I found out of happenstance. I think a career or a job in marketing is one of the most fun things to do, especially because one will often grow into another. So there's a lot of cross-pollination. Like I have had a video producer turn into an account rep.
What makes you so passionate about marketing?
If I had to distill down what I like about it the most, it's that it's a service-based industry. It's something that other people struggle with doing. I can walk in, I can help them execute it, and then they are able to do what they want to do because of that. But I can come in and say, hey, here's what I think would benefit you. And then when it does, it's a good feeling because you're helping prop up somebody else's dream. So it's this feel-good machine for guys like me who just love to serve.
What is your best approach to failure?
Best approach for failure is to just fail and swerve so you don't fail again. Like take the lessons that you can learn out of it and do it again. I didn't become good at what I'm doing by stopping. Yeah. You have to just keep going and you have to fail. That's just part of the equation. So it's a matter of getting to the point where you might fail and you might succeed, but you're not going to learn as much from your success as you are your failure. So a lot of times that first step, you put it out and you go, oh gosh, there's a bunch of little failures in this. How can I tweak that to make it better? And you do it again. It's not failure so much as it's knowing that item A didn't work, so we're going to step on into item B. That's really what it is.
What does success look like to you?
Success for me is a lot of being, well, let me rethink that one. That's another good one. Success to me is really not only serving the client well, but serving the staff well, because you got people under you and you want to provide a good life for them and you want to provide a good solution for your clients. And that is really the most important thing to me. Yes, you can say, all right, I want to reach X revenue goal and be able to build X kind of business. But I'm a people person. I connect with people. My entire job is about connecting and communicating with people. So what I look at is, can I prop up these people that I'm around and make their lives better? Yeah. Like really, in another 20 years or so, when I decide to retire, that's what I want to look back on and say, whew, all right, I did that. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to do. And so when I have people come into the office as employees, it becomes, cool, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'll help you get there and help give them the tools to succeed. And often, because you do that, people will serve you better in return. Yeah.
What's the best way that you think to promote a business? Like, what do you think is most beneficial for your business?
I think doing stuff like this, right? So making my own press opportunities is smart for a marketing agency. I think that business is just relationships, and you've probably heard that. Like, it takes networking, it takes getting to know the right people and all that, and that's true. Which means you got to be out there making all that happen. But when it comes to like curating your own voice as a business, a big chunk of the reason why my face is on camera a lot is because I'm trying to build a personal brand between me and Mammoth to funnel the work into the office to be able to provide jobs for the employees and projects for the employees. And I think that almost every business, especially when you're starting out, if you are willing to put yourself out in front of it as a spokesperson, especially in a small town, sky's the limit. And actually, I agree with that even on a national level. Look at the most popular brands and the most popular businesses in America are entertainment brands. Sports, movies, like TV shows, Netflix specials, YouTube. It's all face-driven, it's all personality. And I think that shows you that almost any business can thrive, provided it's a good business. But I think you get a huge step up against the competition if you say, hey, I'm gonna drive this myself. I'm gonna develop a personality that can help communicate what this business goals are, because then the consumer is interacting with the person instead of a name and a logo.